Hi everybody. Today I want to talk about what the word trump means to you and perhaps to him. So those of us who are old enough to have played card games when we were a child, we often had what's called a trump card in the game. And do you remember what a trump card was? It was a card that lets you do anything you wanted. It lets you overcome or ignore the rules and do whatever you wanted to do. It was a really fun card to have. So that's the word trump, as in trump card. But what about the phrase trumped up? What does that word or that phrase mean? Well, it means made up, it means invented, concocted, fabricated, also fraudulent, false, and untrue. When we were young and we played these games that had a trump card, how did that feel to you? It was really fun, wasn't it? It was really fun to have that card and feel like you had all this extra power. Well, can you imagine growing up with your last name being the name Trump and then playing these cards and realizing that, oh, I'm a Trump card. I should get to ignore the rules that everyone else plays by. I should be able to have these extra powers that a trump card or the name Trump gives me. But what happens in a game of cards when all the trump cards have been used up? That's when you get to be just a regular player and abide by the regular rules. So can you see that eventually that is going to happen? So this is an example of the power of words. We get programmed with the meaning of words in our childhood. The Buddha said attachments create suffering in our lives. So we have these attachments to words that create suffering in our lives. Now I suspect that Donald Trump knows this information. He knows that we are programmed by words because he was programmed in childhood. He knew that it worked. He also knew that people who were programmed or attached to words can be manipulated. So how do you know if you can be manipulated by words? Well, it depends if you're triggered by a word. Being triggered by a word is equivalent to having blinders put on. It means that you can only see from your own perspective. You can't see around you, you can't see other perspectives, and you can easily be led around by someone else. So if you are triggered by any of these words, know that you can be manipulated and you are probably being manipulated. So think of these words: Joe Biden, Donald Trump, abortion, gun, death, life, Vladimir Putin, gay, trans, black, white. Many of us are triggered by one or more of those words, but we can change that. And the way to change that, I recommend the technique called EFT, which is short for emotional freedom technique. It involves tapping on different parts of our body, the ends of meridian systems, as we're talking something through. So we can spend time, and yes, it does take time, and we can tap on a word that we're triggered by. And I would recommend that you tap on all of those words and more, but choose the one that you're triggered by most and tap on that word. And all you have to do is say the word over and over again. So if I was working on Trump, I would tap on these points, the EFT points, and I would say Trump, 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 Trump. And any thoughts that came up around that word, I would add in until the emotion around that word has gone. So if I was using Trump and I did not like Trump, then I would say those words. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe he's done what he's done. I really hate him. I would add a lot more words to that. I've done a lot of tapping on that word over the last few years, and it's definitely made a huge difference. So I would tap through all those different words to the place where you are no longer triggered, where you can hear someone talk in the news about the particular issue and you're no longer triggered. Once you're no longer triggered by a word, it doesn't mean you're going to change the way you think about it necessarily. if you agree with something or you don't agree with something, you can still have those opinions. There's just no longer a big emotional charge around it. Once our blinders have been removed, we then have the ability to see from other points of view, and we are no longer being manipulated. Someone can no longer pull us in the direction that they want us to go. We know which way we're supposed to go because those blinders have been removed. That allows you to become peaceful on the inside. And when you're peaceful on the inside, you attract peace on the outside. Thanks for joining me today. Feel free to join me any Tuesday at 11 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, which is California time. And if you've got any questions, anything you want me to cover, any topic you want me to cover, please put that in one of the comments. That would be great. Thanks a lot. Have a good week. Bye-bye.